The thing that I liked most about Michael Jordan as a player was the fact that I didn't have to try to guard him. If you had a poor defensive scheme, he was going to fill the hoop up until you either figured it out or the game was over and you lost the game. Some of his acrobatic drives to the hoop are just remarkable. You know, he could get past the defense and use a little bit of English off of the glass. The ball drops in so nice. It takes some really advanced skills to do that consistently. The 1988 All-Star Game was a showcase for Michael. Michael had figured out all the things he needed to know to be a dominant player. Everything. One-on-one, couldn't guard him. What Michael Jordan showed the whole sports world was the fact that you put the right people with him, he's going to lead them to world championships, without question. He was a prime example of excellence and a leader that would lead you all the way to the top, all the way to the top. That was basketball at its finest.
Crosstown traffic and the green line whizzing by overhead on this calm winter night in Chicago. But not for long. Now let's go over to tonight's public address announcer, Tommy Edwards.
Welcome fans to the All-Star Exhibition Game. Let's meet the starters for the West. At forward, making his 7th All-Star appearance, the standout veteran of the Denver Nuggets, 6'7", Alex English. Making his All-Star debut, the front court star of the Utah Jazz, the mailman, 6'9", Karl Malone. The man in the middle, an All-Star, each of his 4 pro seasons from the Houston Rockets, 7 feet, Akeem Olajuwon. At guard, making his first All-Star appearance, the versatile star of the Denver Nuggets, 6'3", Lafayette Fat Lever. And the NBA leader in assists in his 8th All-Star game from the Los Angeles Lakers, 6'9", Irvin Magic Johnson. The head coach of the West All-Stars is Brad Nelson. Let's hear it for your West All-Stars. And now, the starting lineup for the Eastern Conference. At forward, a 3-time most valuable player, an All-Star each of his 9 seasons from the Boston Celtics, 6'9", Larry Bird. He's one of the NBA's most exciting players in his 3rd All-Star game from the Atlanta Hawks, 6'8", Dominique Wilkins. The man in the middle, an All-Star for the 10th time, one of the game's most rugged rebounders from the Washington Bullets, 6'10", Moses Malone. At guard, the most valuable player of the 1984 and 1986 All-Star Games. This Chicagoan is making his 7th All-Star appearance from the Detroit Pistons, 6'1", Isaiah Thomas. And finally, the NBA leader in scoring and steals, an All-Star each of his 4 seasons, the charismatic star of the Chicago Bulls, 6'6", Michael Jordan. The head coach of the East All-Stars is Mike Fratello.
Greetings, everyone, from Chicago, the host of the 1988 All-Star Game. Alongside the terrific Clark Kellogg and our reporter David Aldridge on the sidelines, I'm Kevin Harlan. And Clark, this terrific city has produced some greats, and 4 of them playing tonight.
You're exactly right, Kevin. The Windy City, Chicago, has produced Mo Cheeks, Isaiah Thomas, Doc Rivers, and Mark Aguirre, all All-Stars, and I'm sure they've got plenty of family and friends in attendance to enjoy their performance on the court.
Yep, so much to celebrate. And Clark, is there a common thread when you think about a Chicago-type player?
Well, I certainly do believe there's a common thread. When playing outside or outdoors in the Windy City, the perimeter shot can easily get blown off course. So you got to be able to get that thing to the rack and in a straight line fashion. And that's something all Chicago players share in common.
A lot of high flyers, you're right. And your West All-Stars, Fat Lever and Magic Johnson, the guards, Alex English and Karl Malone at the forward spots, and in the middle, Hakeem Olajuwon. For the East, it's Moses Malone inside, and Dominique Wilkins with Larry Bird, the forwards. And in the backcourt, Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan.
And you look at Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, rivals since college. Early on, no love lost between them, but over time, they've become friends.
Johnson against Jordan, outside Lever. Here's Olajuwon, sinks the 15-footer. Clark, amidst this all-star celebration, labor negotiations between the players and the NBA continue.
Trying to find their way through this current impasse, Kevin, and looking to avoid any interruptions to this game that we all have a love affair with.
Yeah, I know you and I hope they can find some common ground.
Please make it happen soon. Constantly applying pressure on the defense, Lever gets himself to the strike.
Clark, you see Larry and Magic together in those Converse ads. They've become really the faces of the NBA.
And Kevin, I think they've inherited the mantle from the great Dr. J. He's done such a great job representing the league all these years, and certainly he's left it in good hands with those two.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. And it goes down 2 points. And tonight's All-Star MVP will have a $5,000 check presented in their name, Clark, to the Thurgood Marshall Black Education Fund.
A great cause in honor of a terrific American.
And Michael Jordan winning the dunk contest yesterday, Clark. Can he add to his trophy case tonight?
Kevin, I think his teammates want to see him win the MVP. I think they're going to give him as many touches as he needs to have a chance to do it.
Ooh, that'll be fun to watch. Here's Malone after the made shot from Michael Jordan. Shoots from the block, and no good, trying to use the glass. Look at the soft touch of Michael Jordan. And if there was a snub, Clark, for this year's All-Star game, many felt it was the sharpshooter Dale Ellis of the Sonics.
Well, you take a look at what he's done. He's the only top 10 scorer in the NBA who was not an All-Star.
Yep, the Tennessee Volunteers should be here. Shot clock at 6. Malone a screen on Jordan. There's Lever with the 3. Here's Olajuwon. Olajuwon with incredible footwork for a big man.
How about this list? Players who have never missed an All-Star game in their careers. Jerry West, Bob Pettit, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, and Hakeem Olajuwon. Those last 3 playing here tonight.
Hey, Clark, the record for points in the All-Star game is 42, set by Wilt Chamberlain back in the 1962 All-Star game.
And you know, a lot of Wilt's records seem virtually untouchable, but I don't think that one is. With all these great scores, who knows? It might be broken tonight.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? And plenty of subplots to this game. For more, let's send it over to David Aldridge. DA, take it away.
Thanks very much. Now, this story has never gone away over the years, guys. Isaiah Thomas is, of course, a native Chicagoan, but you'll still hear some boos today from Bulls fans. That's because at that All-Star game a couple of years ago, people questioned whether Isaiah froze out Michael Jordan. And some people still believe it. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, that story has not gone away. Thank you, David. For what it's worth, Clark, Isaiah Thomas denies there was a freeze-out, and Jordan himself says, I never said it, so what do you think?
Well, the reality is we probably never will know the full story.
And the Eastern All-Stars favored to win tonight.
Star power and firepower. Veteran IQ and smarts, but you never know. The West has quite a bit of talent, too.
Indeed, they do. Now, here's Jordan. Following the miss by Hakeem. Malone. And yes, it's good. Malone's got his second bucket of the night.
Moses Malone is not only a 6-time rebounding champ, but he's also a 10-time All-Star. He gives the Washington Bullets some real muscle inside.
Now, here's English. He's still scoreless so far in this one. It's good. He makes his first shot of the game.
You know, people said Alex English was too light of frame, too skinny, not athletic enough. Well, how about this? He's playing in his 7th straight All-Star game. So much for being too skinny.
And Michael Jordan, not only last season's leading scorer by a mile, but Clark Kellogg this season, he is in the running for the Defensive Player of the Year.
He is the true definition of a two-way player. Gets it done at a high level at both ends.
There's got to be some excitement, maybe even, Clark, some butterflies playing in the All-Star game. You want to prove you belong out there.
I agree with that, and there can also be the temptation to try to do a little too much, maybe get flashy, but with these players still getting a feel for each other in the flow, a lot to be said for making the simple play.
Nevertheless, a great honor. Fades and shoots, and the shot is long.
Well, you know he wants that one back. I mean, more often than not, he'll sink that mid-range jumper.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the most All-Star appearances by far in NBA history, Clark, and All-Star in every season of his career except one, and in that year, he was injured.
Yeah, and at 40 years of age, matter of fact, the youngest player tonight was only 4 years old when Kareem made his first All-Star appearance. That player, Brad Daugherty.
No kidding.
That's right.
Rivers, he's checked in for Isaiah Thomas. And Kareem, the elder statesman, 19 years in the NBA. Decades of dominance. And Michael Jordan won the dunk contest last night, and man, was it great. What a thriller. He and Dominique Clark put on a great show, and you could tell they both wanted it so badly. Perhaps the home court advantage gave Michael Jordan Clark the edge.
And there was another winner from last night, and that was Larry Bird, taking home the trophy in the three-point shootout. And he didn't even need to take off his warm-ups to handle his business.
Clark, somebody told me he looked at the rest of the competitors and said, okay, who's going to be in second place here? Who's going to finish behind me?
Sounds just like him.
And they pick up 2.
Magic Johnson in his 8th All-Star game now, 2nd in All-Star votes this year, and he hosts his own All-Star game in the summer in L.A. as a fundraiser, and I understand it's quite an event.
So as we end the first quarter, already a double-digit ball game. East All-Stars lead by 11. We'll get things started in the second quarter when we return. Welcome back, everyone, to the 1988 All-Star Game here in Chicago. As these great fans hope Michael Jordan can bring home the win and the MVP hardware. The East leading by 11.
And the head coach of the East, Mike Fratello, his first time coaching in the All-Star Game.
They've got Malone, Dominique Wilkins out there with Bird. Then there's Thomas, and it's Jordan in at the 2 spot. So that's who the East All-Stars start the second with.
And Dominique Wilkins is the go-to scorer for the Hawks, no question about that. And he's embraced that leadership role as well. Obviously a huge part of the Hawks' success.
That one dropped for his second bucket. Mark him 2 for 4. How about that? Mike's a terrific friend of yours and mine, and Fratello's Hawks recently moved into first place in the East after the Cavs beat the Celtics. Clark enabling him to become the coach of the East All-Star.
So don't be surprised if the Cavs' Brad Daugherty gets extended minutes in his first All-Star appearance. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And enjoying his finest pro season, Clyde the Glide Drexler making his second All-Star appearance. Worked over the summer with Kiki Vandeweghe to substantially improve his jump shot.
And here early, Clark, the East has the edge.
You look at that team on the East squad, an embarrassment of riches, Kevin, and you know, they've got so many weapons. I think it simply comes down to execution for them.
And starting last season, Clark, Michael Jordan's scoring went through the roof.
Averaging over 37 points per game, partner, and he's kept close to that pace this season as well. Remarkable.
Amazing and remarkable, right. Wow. So the timeout taken here, the first for the West All-Stars. So an almost entirely new group now for the West. Olajuwon's checked in for Abdul-Jabbar. Malone comes in for Worthy. Maguire's checked in for McDaniel. And Levers subbed in for Clyde Drexler. East All-Stars on defense. Here's Lever. Kicks it to Malone. Plays it up and banks it in. Malone's got his first bucket of the night.
And you know, before every game, Karl Malone calls his mother back in Summerfield, Louisiana, to ask what numbers he should shoot for. Tonight, she said go for 25 and 11. And Coach Mike Fratello, a colleague of ours, coaching in the All-Star game, standing tall amongst a bunch of tall guys in the NBA. You know, his dad was an amateur boxer, and, you know, I think that background gives Mike a lot of confidence as a coach. Magic Johnson leads the league in assists, and he's also got the most assists in All-Star game history. He processes the game at another level, folks.
And Clark, not easy for these coaches to put their stamp on the game. Only a 1-hour practice yesterday to get acquainted and move through some sets.
And you know, Kevin, it's not about necessarily practice time. A few offensive sets is all that's needed. I think it's how you manage the players and give them a platform to have fun and do what they do.
That's a good point. And both free throws good for Jordan.
Already a very confident player. Knocking down those free throws only fuels that.
Johnson against Jordan. Olajuwon. And Magic Johnson continuing to orchestrate beautifully. Clark wide open, high scoring both ways.
These tremendous All-Stars are putting on a tremendous show, Kevin.
What a blast.
And you know, so far I like the effort from both teams. It's an exhibition, but each team showing great pride. They're getting after it.
Johnson surveying the floor. Outside, Malone. Johnson can't hit. And Clark, so much talent for each side, but they got to develop that chemistry on the fly, don't they?
Exactly, and that's what the coaches will be looking for down the stretch. Which group of players really complement one another and give you the best chance to win?
And Larry Bird winning 3 straight MVP awards from 1983 to 1986.
You know who the last player was to do that?
I know I'm going back to the 60-something. You tell me.
Yeah,
I know you
Bill
know.
Russell.
Yeah, right,
It's Bill Russell, 1960 to 63.
Of course. I'm glad we bring him up. Legend.
Yep.
And now let's go over to David Aldridge with a report on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Thank you, Kevin. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the oldest All-Star in history. This is his 17th game. No one else has been in more than 13. To put that into context, there were 6 players in yesterday's Legends game that were younger than Kareem. Magic Johnson says he respects Kareem more than anyone I know because of the pride this man has in whatever he does. Kevin, back to you.
He is a very proud individual. David, thank you. And Kareem's coming out here, Clark, after spending 2 days in bed with strep throat. I mean, it's remarkable.
And Kevin, that's exactly the pride Magic was talking about, and that's why it seems like every game we do, Kareem is adding to some type of record that he's already established. Tonight, he could very well become the leading scorer in the history of the All-Star game.
Isn't that phenomenal? They call him captain for a reason. He is truly the leader of this entire NBA.
Yes, sir.
Offensive rebound. And he battles for the ball and gets the second chance bucket. Olajuwon's got 6 in the quarter. And Clark, when you look at Hakeem Olajuwon's Houston Rockets, here is a team making a lot of moves.
I tell you what, their trade for Joe Barry Carroll and Sleepy Floyd paying huge dividends. They're certainly on the rise in my mind.
Yeah, a lot of people like those moves. And so Jordan will bring it up for the East All-Stars. Into the lane. Here's Malone. Look at the domination on the glass by Moses Malone. And Moses Malone, Clark, the wily veteran for the Washington Bullets.
And you know, Kevin, his coach Wes Unseld says Malone has really added a level of aggressiveness to the Washington Bullets.
And he brings Clark a championship pedigree to the team.
No doubt.
Lever the bounce pass. Here's Olajuwon. And that would have counted, but his shot was off the mark this time. Michael Jordan getting it done for the East All-Stars. And his big game just keeps getting bigger. That quarter sees him get over 30 points. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back to the second half of the 1988 All-Star Game here in Chicago. Great performances from these players, whether it's their first time participating or their 17th.
You know, you get into the latter stages of the game, and it's normal to wonder who will take home the MVP trophy. It's certainly one of those accolades that's mentioned when you talk about the great ones. You know, next time he has that much space, he should just go straight up with it and leave the fadeaway at home. Park that fadeaway, take the shot that's available.
Getting underway here in the second half. Here's the 5 for Brad Nelson. They've got English. Johnson is out there with Lever. And there's Malone. And it's Olajuwon in at the 5. And of the players in tonight's All-Star Game, Clark, 2 have won MVP trophies in this game before. Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas.
And how about this, Kevin? Thomas has won 2 out of the last 4 years. If he was to get 3 MVPs, that would put him in some rarefied air, tying with Oscar Robertson for second most. Bob Pettit is the only player to do it 4 times.
The vision of Magic Johnson is unsurpassed.
And the 6'9" forward, Karl Malone, out of Louisiana Tech, playing for the Utah Jazz. Tonight, he's wearing number 7 to honor the great Pete Maravich, who himself was a 3-time All-Star with the New Orleans Jazz.
And the East with the lead.
Living up to that favored and top billing and giving these fans quite a show.
Oh, and they need a basket in the worst way.
I think they're forcing things right now, and it's why their offense looks so pedestrian.
And Magic Johnson, Clark, made it clear coming into this game that he wanted the challenge of defending the great Michael Jordan.
He certainly did, and the West as a team will certainly have their work cut out for him trying to slow that guy down.
That is going to be fun to watch. Here's Malone. Can't hit that one. Bird with some nice D. The East leading by 19 points. Malone with the steal. English against Wilkins. English no good. And Clark, a slow start for Michael Jordan is beginning now to get some momentum and heating up.
And the fans starting to take notice. They're feeling it a little bit, making some noise. They're certainly hoping he can make it happen.
Johnson kicks to Lever. Now the pass to Olajuwon. And it's Jordan with the rebound. Jordan's got 6 rebounds now in the game. Over Lever. The East All-Stars tack on 2 more.
Playing well on both ends of the floor, stifling defense and dangerous O. That's a heck of a combo.
Malone, the pass to Olajuwon. Good, and the assist goes to Malone. 14 points for Hakeem Olajuwon. Outside Thomas. Shoots. And it's a new single-game record in scoring for the All-Star Game. Set right in front of us by Michael Jordan.
What an incredible athlete, Kevin. And it seems whatever he sets his mind to do, he can do it. Impressive.
Olajuwon kicks to Johnson. Up top, English. 14 feet away. Lever, that's good.
And Fat Lever, snubbed a year ago, now a first-time All-Star, well-deserved. He leads the league in triple-doubles, one of the original stat sheet stuffers, averaging 9 rebounds a game as well. Best by a mile for NBA guards. You know, there's been talk about adding a third referee to NBA games. The commissioner and the rules committee are in favor of it, and they plan to put it before the Board of Governors at the next meeting.
Back to Johnson. Just 5 on the clock. At the top of the key, Lever. Olajuwon trying to break free. Lever can't get it to go. Jordan passes to Thomas. Chalk up 2 there. And Clark with 3 officials working games. Do you think that'll result in more fouls being called, more eyes on the ball? They can pick up a lot more, certainly, with more guys out there.
Yeah, you know, I think, Kevin, it might be the case early on with the third official, but over time it'll smooth itself out. Off the ball, you know, some things you could get away with in the past, maybe not so much with 3 officials out there.
So an almost entirely new group now for the West. Adelson, he's checked in for Olajuwon. Abdul-Jabbar comes in for Malone. James Worthy's checked in for English. And it's Drexler in for Lever. Drexler at the elbow with the drive, and he uses the glass on the lane. Drexler's got 6.
And at 26 points per game, Drexler ranks 7th in the league in scoring. His Blazers playing catch-up with the Lakers, though. Their improved defense has helped them overcome some early injuries.
And Kareem looking to set the career record for all-star scoring. Isn't that something?
It really is. Needs just 10 points to do it, Kevin, and you gotta love his chances. I mean, that's a layup for him, pun intended.
Yeah, a good one. It's hauled in by the East.
Unnecessary to go to the fadeaway there. It wasn't needed. Could have just kept it simple and taken the easy shot.
Now here's Jordan. He's covered closely. Here's Malone, and Malone with the stuff.
Yeah, Malone showing you the bounce. High he got up there, dunking comes pretty easy to him. It's quite easy when you get that high up.
And here is Johnson. He's got 8. Pass to Drexler. The shot comes out, and as we conclude the third quarter, pretty much a blowout. It's been a one-sided affair. East All-Stars ahead, opening up a huge gap. And do not go away, as we'll be back in just a few moments with the start of our fourth quarter coming up next. Welcome back to Chicago for the 1988 All-Star Game. The grand finale of what's been a tremendous weekend to celebrate the NBA.
You take a look at the landscape of the NBA, and I tell you what, that Central Division, dominant. How about this? 36 games above 500 combined.
Bird is out there with Wilkins. Then it's Malone. Then it's Jordan. And it's Thomas in at the 1 spot. So that's the 5 in the game for the East All-Stars. Now Thomas. Jordan kicks to Thomas. Here's Wilkins. And no good. And it's the West taking it the other way. Well, you look at that Central Division, all 6 teams on pace to make the playoffs.
And, you know, Chicago got off to that great start, Kevin. Then they cooled off just a bit. Now tied with Detroit at 3 games behind Atlanta. Those teams are breaked up pretty good.
Here is Aguirre. Down the stretch here, the East, Clark out in front.
Getting it done. It's been such a fun game to watch. Entertaining from both sides.
Woo, it sure has been. And Donaldson gets it to go. And in his 8th season in the NBA, James Donaldson making Clark his first All-Star appearance.
Oh, man!
What a finish.
Michael Jordan, MJ. It really doesn't get much better than this.
McDaniel, the pass to Drexler. And it's Malone with the rebound. Malone's got rebound number 7 for him tonight. The shot by Wilkins, no good.
Boy, that's a look he has to finish, and he knows it. Lone opportunity.
With his first shot attempt, Aguirre, no good. And here's Jordan. He'll bring it up for the East All-Stars. Here's Wilkins. Another highlight for the film of Dominique Wilkins.
There are very few guys in this league who make dunking a true art form. Neek is one of those guys.
Thomas against Drexler. And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul.
Isaiah Thomas.
That's on Isaiah Thomas.
And after the Central Division, the Midwest has been the second most competitive division. Those teams are sitting at 10 games over 500.
Taking 2 shots.
Shooting 2.
First one falls for him. And Clark in the Midwest, those Rockets are really making a push.
And they're doing it behind Hakeem Olajuwon. To me, he's the best center in the NBA. They certainly got a chance to give the Lakers a run for their money.
Oh, yeah. And it's a completely new group for the East All-Stars. Levers checked in for the West. Looking to keep it rolling.
Stay on the attack and keep playing the right way.
Here's Ewing. The size and aggression of Patrick Ewing inside.
And with Patrick Ewing leading the way, the New York Knicks finally competitive again. The big man has quickly found a rapport with rookie point guard Mark Jackson. They are a team on the rise. Book that. And that's just another mistake. I mean, they've got it on autopilot, and they look totally dejected.
We're in the final quarter of play here, 3 minutes in.
And Commissioner David Stern in the house tonight. Since taking over 4 years ago, he's done a remarkable job helping guide this league to new unprecedented heights.
Exactly. Rivers, 4 on the shot clock. Ewing finds Rivers. Here's Ainge. The East All-Stars check on 2 more.
And Danny Ainge making his All-Star debut in year 7, having the best season of his career. He went from a singles hitter in pro baseball to a long-distance laser in the NBA.
Lever up top. He's guarded by Rivers. They get it back. Out to the right wing. Lever taking his time here. Drexler high post.
2 minutes remaining in the game.
Lever against Rivers. The 15-footer, good. One thing the league has done since Commissioner Stern has taken over, Clark, is really marketing the league around its stars. And I like that type of strategy.
I agree with you, Kevin, wholeheartedly. And what better time to highlight those great stars than tonight? Amazing talent, compelling personalities. The league is certainly on a great trajectory.
It absolutely is. The East All-Stars check on 2 more.
The #1 overall pick in 1985, and it was an all-star rookie season for Patrick Ewing. Hurt last year, but nice to see him back where he belongs, right in the all-star game.
And the foul called on Kevin McHale.
First personal.
That's his first foul. And it's a completely new group for the East All-Stars.
On the court.
The West All-Stars also changing it up. Abdul-Jabbar's checked in for McDaniel. Worthy comes in for Aguirre. And it's Johnson in for Lever. Drexler finds Johnson. Here's Abdul-Jabbar. And the rejection by Bird. This offense has been dynamic and diversified.
Everybody sharing the ball and sharing the load makes you really hard to defend.
No problems knocking that one down.
This run, it's a haymaker, a knockout punch.
And the West All-Stars have possession. Johnson up top. He's defended by Jordan. Donaldson, count it, good. And the 7-2 center from the Mavericks, James Donaldson.
You know, I think he's the only lefty in this game. Larry Bird and Danny Ainge right left-handed, but they shoot it with their right hand.
You and I have talked about this before, but defending a lefty is different than defending clearly a right-handed shooter.
throws you off just a little bit, Kevin.
Johnson gets the bucket.
Yeah, watching Johnson exert his will down low now, using his height and quick release quite well inside.
Thomas passes to Bird. From outside, off the mark. Johnson outside. And the Eastern All-Stars deliver. The favorites coming in, but they did not disappoint.
Yeah, you looked at that team on paper, and you saw they were the stronger team and should have been favored, but you still got to go out and prove it, and they did exactly that.
And so much scoring in that lineup for the East. My goodness, look at those names. That's always going to be tough to stop.
And you factor in the raucous crowd cheering on Michael Jordan, Kevin. No wonder they found that extra gear they needed when it was time to get it done.
That's a good point. This is Kevin Harlan saying thank you for watching. See you later.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no.